and was only suitable for people aged 18 or over, will almost certainly have an adult theme, and might well contain sex or violence, which are quite graphic. It may also contain explicit language, including sexual swear words. Thanks for listening.
But here's what his revelation comes to him. He's kind of got all this stuff, like touching, wiping, lowering of the animals.
Not wiping, whipping.
Yeah. Also not touching.
I am dyslexic. I hope I'm not having like a stroke.
Do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
And an atheist almost always become supporters of eugenics and abortion.
A swine is hungry for nuts. Jesus hates them too.
Satan is real.
Being a Satanist is an open declaration of revolt against counterproductive received wisdom and mindless rogue tradition.
Decapitate her head off. We're done. You're done. Obama!
Welcome to the Godless Rebelution. This is episode 105.
I'm Dan Ellis.
I'm Ryan Duffy.
I'm all confused.
You get to be Matt Mitchell again.
Again.
I wanted to be Ryan Duffy.
Oh.
2 weeks without it.
But I'm Ryan Duffy, right?
Yeah, you are, so.
Nice.
You're the new naked model guy.
Everything's gone fucky.
I know. As soon as I said who I was, my beard just went.
And I finally have hair again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I finally have my voice again. After recording Wednesday night, I woke up Thursday and my voice was totally fucking gone and my throat was so sore. I don't know if it was just from talking on the show that made it that much more sore.
Yeah.
You sounded pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thursday my voice was gone and Friday it was pretty much gone. But I mean, Thursday really all I could do was whisper. The rest of the time it was, yeah. I just tried to not talk. And then even when I would whisper, it felt like it was putting a big strain on my throat. Just even try to whisper.
You need to get one of those cool things like all the smokers have that you put on your throat that makes you talk like an alien.
The little things when they have the tracheotomies or whatever. Yeah.
Like the guy from South Park.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming right for us. So, I didn't have a voice Thursday, didn't have a voice Friday. Saturday woke up, was feeling better, and we went to go see... No, Saturday, I don't know what I did Saturday.
I was at work.
Yeah? What did you do Saturday, Matt? I mean, Dan?
Saturday. I can't remember Saturday.
I've slept several times since then.
I went to the gym at one point.
So,
and I went shopping. I did some shopping and errands.
Well, it's funny, when my voice was totally gone Thursday and Friday, it started coming back a little bit on Friday, and Tracy's mom came over, I think. We did some things with her and stuff, and while I was talking, my voice sounded kind of funny, and it reminded me of you I think it was during the last episode or the one before, and you're like, I have a particular set of skills. I
said pills.
Oh, pills, right.
Because we were doing Bill Cosby as Liam Neeson.
Right.
I have a particular set of pills. Yeah. That's in the highlight one.
Nice. Yeah. But I did that, and her mom fell out laughing.
What'd she fall out of?
She likes to take in movies. It's the thing the kids are saying. Are they not saying that anymore? I fell out.
I never heard it.
Oh. No? Ryan hasn't either?
No.
It sounded like a super old saying is what it sounded like.
We fell right off of the old horse, we tell you. Laughing so hard.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
God damn it.
I apologize.
I try to be hip and cool.
And it fails every time.
All those cool kids are saying it. Yeah.
Here's your paper.
So we have a lot of things to talk about, and we're all super busy in scheduling of the things and junk. So, so this may be a very long show, maybe a very short show. It could be regular time or short-ish. I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear.
Do it.
We'll just see how things roll out. We've got a lot of things to talk about. Real quick, last night we went and Atheists of Utah delivered a check for $3,567 to the local Planned Parenthood here.
And she seemed thoroughly surprised when she got the check.
She was very happy.
Yeah.
She was so cool.
Yeah.
Did they know they were getting that?
We told them that we would be providing a not unsizable donation to them. So every year, Atheists of Utah volunteers at the local Planned Parenthood, and we put together we put together buttons and their safer sex kits, which are like a card on how to use a condom and some condoms and some finger cots and some lube. And so every year for the Pride Festival for the last 3 or 4 years now, Atheists of Utah has been going and helping Planned Parenthood set these up. And the first year that we went, they expected that we would, have a few people show up and would help them make enough kits to hopefully cover the Pride Festival. But we had like 40 people show up and made enough of their kits that we covered them for the rest of the year. So they're very happy to have us come and help, because we usually bring a lot of very, very happy, very enthusiastic, large crowd of people to help them do whatever they need. So they've started adding other things for us to do while we're there. This year they had us making little centerpieces that they're going to use for
a party or something, or some event they have coming up.
Yeah, so we helped with that, and we made buttons, and we did the safer sex kits, and it was a good time. We presented the check, and we presented it to the CEO of the local Planned Parenthood, and she was just really, really sweet, really, really cool. I feel bad that her name is escaping my old brain right now. But yeah, she was delighted to get it and kept saying, "This is going to buy so many condoms."
And the fact that she just loves the atheists near because we help them out.
Yeah, she said that one of her very first speaking engagements was after she had become CEO of the Planned Parenthood here. She was invited to speak at an atheists event, and I can only imagine that was put on by Richard Andrews when he was doing the Salt Lake Valley Atheists and their monthly brunches where he'd have somebody come and speak. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought, I should branch out to some more, not just atheist groups, but other progressive groups and have some of their leaders come and talk about what they're doing. Like other groups that, their leaders or heads may not be atheists, but are still progressive groups and who we as atheists support anyway, and have them come and talk, and that would be good. Speaking of speaking, Dr. Richard Carrier will be coming to Utah May 25th.
That's
on a Wednesday.
Yep. And
we'll be speaking at the Salt Lake City Public Library. So y'all can, if you're in the area, you can come and watch that. He'll be speaking on the intersection of polyamory and humanism. So,
and it's free.
No.
Oh, this is not?
No.
Oh. Well,
no, it's not free. It's not free because we have to pay for the location and for a small honorarium for him.
We'll just cut that.
So.
Well, in the past, whenever we did something, said, is this not the library?
It is at the library.
I always thought they rented that out for.
No, so because it's a private event.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a limited number of seats available.
Yeah.
And, because we have to give him a small honorarium and he'll be selling books and signing them.
Oh, okay.
The library charges you anytime you're selling anything.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's where the difference in lies from all the other times.
But tickets are very inexpensive. We have a $10 early bird ticket that if you buy it, I think up to 3 days before the show, they're only $10. Afterward, they're $15, and they will not be sold at the door, so you need to buy them online. You can find all the information about that at the Atheists of Utah Facebook page. So, and it's easy to find if you just type in Atheists of Utah on your Facebook, and then look at the events.
HTTP /
You forgot the colon.
What would I fucking care?
And the S if you're going to be secure in your connection to the site. Though it defaults that here anyway, and I'm a nerd. I know what I did on Saturday. It was Mother's Day.
That was Sunday.
Well, for me, it was Mother's Day because we did an early Mother's Day brunch thing. Took all of the mothers out to Little America for their...
All of the mothers?
For their fancy brunch thing. Well, it was...
You met my mom?
It was, yes. She's a delightful woman.
I'm sure.
It was my mom and Tracy's mom and my step-grandmother and my mom's mom did not attend because she was somewhere else, and I was fine with that. But, then the kids all came with us and everything. That was a lot of fun. And then we went to go see Captain America, Civil War. And I had a lot of fun, and I know Matt doesn't give a shit, so...
He's just kind of like, all right, yep, you little kids.
Because he's not 12.
Yep.
He's not 12, okay, Ryan?
Yep. That's so fucking stupid. There's 5 billion of them. It's so fucking dumb.
Hey, I still watch cartoons,
fun.
and there's 5 billion of them.
And it was so much better than the goddamn Batman versus Superman movie.
Yeah, I'm never going to see that either, because that's...
Worse.
I have 2 things hanging in my cubicle. One is my certificate of appreciation for how long I've been with the company, and the other one is a little hand-drawn, I did it like Calvin and Hobbes drew it, of Batman and Superman, and I wrote underneath it, the Hollywood's answer to the question only 9-year-olds were asking. And that's the only other thing that hangs there.
I like those movies. I think they're entertaining.
The Jungle Book was good, though.
I've heard good things about it.
Mm-hmm. Let me just address the people who are yelling at me for being a hypocrite right now, because I don't like the children thing or whatever. The Jungle Book is made for children, and it's not trying to be cool. It's just what it is. The superhero thing is
cool. It's trying to be cool with 5-year-olds. Don't lie.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Don't lie.
But at least it is what it's being what it is. The superhero movies are made for kids, but trying to be awesome, but still rated PG-13. It's fucking dumb.
Now, Deadpool
was good.
That was a comic book movie.
Yep. And it was good.
I hear more of them are going to go that way.
The
They're going to go rated R.
To be better. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, they're probably actually going to have funding
because they're going to have a budget.
One.
Yeah. He won't have to say things like, "I've forgotten my guns and my ammunition,"
or make fun of yep, no more CGI. We ran out of money.
Yep. So
cool.
That'll be fun. Anyway, we got stories. Ted Cruz is out. We talked about that last week a little bit, so that's all good. Everybody is still freaking out about that. I'm not. I think that's a wonderful thing. Carly Fiorina is now all by herself in the airport.
I was going to say that.
Standing all by her lonesome. I thought that was a good little meme.
Was that actually her?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, is it something that looks like her, or is that actually her?
Yeah. Yeah, I posted a photo to Facebook that I had actually gotten from Rick Wingrove, who's a regional director for American Atheists also. That's at least where I first saw it, and it was Carly Fiorina standing all alone in the airport.
No more security detail?
No more security detail.
Aww.
Nobody even hi, you're Carly Fiorina. Yeah. I'd like to spit in your face. But
you can't even stand up on a stage straight.
Oh, jeez.
Segway!
I've got a little bit of a wrap-up on Cruz.
Oh, yeah? Well, then, let's do that. I'll fold my arms and sit back.
Yeah.
Strap in.
This will be the longest thing I do all night.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When Donald Trump trounced Jeb Bush and TKO'd Marco Rubio, he ostensibly defeated the idea of what the GOP, quote, should be. After last week's tap-out of Ted Cruz, Trump has beaten the second tier of contemporary Republican values, what I'm now calling theoconservatism. Theoconservatives, as the name suggests, combines the religious fervor of ISIS, but for the Bible, with cold and cruel authoritarian politics that share a property line with fascism. Theocons are fond of painting themselves as only the most recent installment of a tradition going back through Reagan, Goldwater, and the Founding Fathers. See David Barton for more on that subject. While it may have some roots in the past with leaders like McCarthy, it's really a younger phenomenon. Twins conceived in the image of W's C-average ideas and seething hatred for the N-word, President Obama. While many Republicans viewed George W. Bush's post-September 11th popularity and 2004 majority victory as his climax and worth salvaging among future candidates, theocons seem to have admired and imitated Bush's collapse and incompetence, even borrowing human rights violations as keys for their platform, arguing that it proved he had been far too liberal, and that his compassion, like Guantanamo, was heretical and led to the failings of the Republicans in 2008 and 2012.
That's the part that kills me, is that they're all embracing the very worst parts of his presidency.
Yeah.
The most base elements of what will become his legacy of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things they're embracing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Theocons now have a childlike determination to vehemently reject anything with the mild scent of big government, except in cases of imposing biblical morals, and avoiding at all costs even the smallest compromise. If there were any examples of Bush being the least bit soft-hearted, theoconservatism responds by being stubbornly, sternly Ayn Randian. Where Bush treated government spending like it was his daddy's money, theoconservatives would be brutally austere where its citizens are concerned, military accepted, of course. And above all, where Bush had occasionally looked for bipartisanship, theocons would stand on the, quote, principle of fighting until they reach submission. This bullying and only child syndrome of a philosophy found champions on talk radio, helped solidify a zealous, uneducated group of martyr fantasizers into the current Tea Party. It influenced Paul Ryan's budgets and infused Mitt Romney's "you built that" rhetoric. But it was only of the government shutdown of 2013 that it found the real personification of its rhetoric. Ted Cruz.
Boo.
Dr. Seuss.
Cruz found a way to steer into the authoritarian Christian skid. His 2016 campaign strategy was simple. Wherever the party's most ideological voters were, there he would be. If Obama was for it, he was against it. Where conservatives were angry, he would channel their anger. Where they wanted a fighter, he would be that fighter. Wherever the party's activists were gathered on whatever issue, social or economic, immigration or the flat tax, he would be standing by their side. He would win Iowa, the South, his native Texas, and the Mountain West. They wanted Reagan. Cruz would give them Ronald Mussolini. Well, close enough. It didn't quite work, but it nearly did. He took evangelical votes from the man who still comes just a little when he hears Eye of the Tiger, Mike Huckabee, a doctor so compassionate he once gave his own brain to a patient, Ben Carson, a man so Catholic he uses a diaper to masturbate, Rick Santorum.
Oh. That was rough.
Thank you. Cruz also took libertarian votes from the other doctor who thinks it's your fault if you don't have a rich father, Rand Paul. He outlasted in many ways outplayed the very smooth Eagle Scout who never earned his hydration merit badge, Marco Rubio.
Marco Roboto.
Yeah. He earned support from the I'm a regular guy, just like I'm a regular Christian, Mitt Romney, not Barbara's favorite son, Jeb Bush, and illegitimate son of Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham. But it turned out that not enough Republican voters wanted theoconservatism, at least the way Cruz sold it. Maybe they would have wanted it from a candidate with more charisma and charm and less repugnant social unlikability.
Someone who would lie a little bit less about every fucking thing under the sun.
Right. But the entire Trump phenomenon suggests... Phenomenon. The Trump phenomenon suggests otherwise. And Trump as the nominee is basically a long proof against the theoconservative theory of the Republican Party. Trump proved that movement of conservative ideas and litmus tests don't really have any purchase on millions of Republican voters. Again and again, Cruz and the other GOP candidates stressed that Trump really wasn't a conservative. They listed his heresies, cataloged his deviations, dug up barely buried liberal past. No doubt this case resonated with many Republicans, but not with nearly enough of them to make Cruz the nominee.
What he lacked in any of his, or what he lacks in any of his so-called conservative views, he more than makes up for in his xenophobic and racist views.
Right. Trump proved that many evangelical voters, supposedly the heart of the theoconservative coalition, are actually not values voters or religious conservatives at all. And that the less frequently evangelicals go to church, the more likely they are to vote for a philandering sybarite instead of a pastor's son. Cruz would probably be on his way to the Republican nomination if he had simply carried the Deep South. But unless voters were the in-church every Sunday type, Trump identity politics had more appeal than Cruz's theological political correctness.
Which I think is kind of awesome in a way. The theocrats lost this time.
Oh, yeah. Right.
There are no theocrats in the race right now.
Yeah.
Right. Trump proved that many of the party's moderates and establishmentarians hate the thought of a theocon nominee even more than they fear handing the nomination to a proto-fascist, grotesque with zero political experience and poor impulse control. Cruz will be back, no doubt. He's young, and he'll be able to claim in 2020 that conservatism has yet been left untried. Mm-hmm. But that will be a half-truth. It isn't being tried this year because the Republican Party's voters had rejected him and it when they declined to back Rubio and Jeb. What remains then is Trumpism. which will also, in its lurching, sometimes insightful, often wicked way, a theory of what kind of party the Republicans should become, and one that the plurality of Republicans now actually voted to embrace.
Yeah, I think if Ted Cruz tries to run again, he's going to fall just as fast as Rick Perry did this last time.
Yeah, and Santorum, too.
Yeah,
and Huckabee. I mean, yeah.
They were their God love childs. They're like, we need our religious man in office. And this time around, they're like, no, you lost us the first time. Sorry, you're done.
Well, and you mentioned that Cruz will be back, but I've kind of wondered about this myself. Like, where would he go? I mean, the Republicans hate him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Republican establishment hates him. The voters have rejected him. Fox News doesn't like him. Where will he go?
I don't know. I don't see him having enough humility to look at that honestly. I mean, he wears it as a badge of pride that the establishment Republicans
Republicans hate me.
Yeah, because they're too liberal.
I guess the one place I could see him being a perfect fit would be starting his own church. Becoming a pastor somewhere.
Well, his dad, does his dad have his own church?
I don't think his dad has his own church, but he tours the evangelical circuit of churches, yeah.
Well, I mean, because Ted Cruz, I guarantee he's going to try to get reelected.
I think he'll lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That's what it's going to come down to. If he loses that reelection, it's like, no, dude. Not even your own people in your area that elected you want you in there anymore, so you definitely will not have any shot of fucking president.
Even the Texans in his district, I think, will reject him if he tries to run for his Senate seat again. But I think he's already didn't he say that he's not going to do that? Or when I'm thinking of Rubio, yeah.
But I just wonder if he's going to turn into a Sarah Palin then.
Just kind of completely irrelevant bobblehead.
Just kind of hanging
irrelevant
around.
Bobblehead, but it's always fucking popping up in the news.
Yeah, I'd hope not.
For some odd reason. Like, I don't know why anybody seeks the opinion of Sarah Palin or anything.
And that's when
but they still do.
I was talking to one of my ultra-conservative coworkers and talking about Palin, and he's like, yeah, you're right. She didn't even serve a full term. Like, yeah, she has more time as a weather lady than she does or sports, whatever she does in the news there, than she does as a political person. So what the fuck does her opinion matter?
Well, and even she really flamed out during this election cycle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was supporting Trump, right?
Yeah, well, she's back now.
I haven't seen much of her for a while.
Not for that. Well, just this past week, because after Paul Ryan said he will not come to the convention, she came out saying she's going to do everything she can to get Paul Ryan out of office now. She's going to work as hard as she can against Paul Ryan.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she holds so much sway with so many people.
Right.
Yeah, I think she kind of flamed out. And then you also mentioned Ayn Rand in your thing, and that was the one thing I didn't mention during the opening is that on Sunday, Tracy and I went to go see David Cross. And sitting as a member in the audience, I thought, this guy would be a perfect fourth addition to the Godless Rebelution podcast. Like, he railed, like, everything he said, I completely agreed with. There were, I don't know, I saw probably 5 or 6 people get up and leave during the show.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He was very, very firebrandy, very incendiary. Yeah. Mentioned that he was an atheist several different times. And like, he attacked the GOP. He attacked religion in general, Mormonism specifically because he was in Utah. He attacked libertarians and Ayn Rand and Ron Paul, and yeah, it was fucking glorious. I loved every minute of it.
Nice.
So if by any chance you're listening to this, David, you're invited to be our 4th person on the show. Like full time. It doesn't pay besides in beer and pizza, but you're welcome to come on.
I will give you all the beer and pizza you desire. Yeah, it was cool. He apparently while he was out walking around downtown, he ran into some guy who was in Utah from Australia. He's just roaming the United States for some reason. And told the guy that he should come to his show. So the guy bought a ticket and he came to the show. And right at the beginning of his show, David Cross was like, "Where's my friend?" And I can't remember the guy's name. He's like, that I met downtown. And I guess the guy was in the audience and he raised his hand or whatever. He's like, "Come on down here, sit in front." And there were a few open seats. There was no opening act. And I think a few people figured there would be an opening act, so it would be okay to be a little bit late. There was no opening act at all. And there were, I don't know, maybe 10 open seats right in front, in the front section there in the orchestra pit. And he's like, why are these seats? Why is there nobody sitting here? He's like, you people want, just come on down, fill in these seats. Come and sit here. And then he's like, oh, no, wait, that's probably not fair to you guys who've paid for these tickets. And, oh no, they're the same price. Oh yeah, fuck that then. You guys come all down. come and fill in these seats right here. Come on, just don't be shy. Come and walk down. He was fucking awesome. So I tweeted out that I went in liking David Cross a whole lot and that I left loving him, and he liked my tweet. So
Yay.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great show, man. It was the best stand-up I've seen in several years.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I'm so glad we went. Yeah.
I really was planning to go, and then I completely just totally forgot about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, until you posted that you were going up there, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, Tracy's on that shit, man. She subscribes to some like daily 5 something or other with different events and shit, and she's constantly buying us tickets to make me more cultured, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
We go to plays and events and things that I probably wouldn't do by myself, but yeah, it's awesome. She also got us tickets, so we're Slack subscribers, and now we're also subscribers to the Broadway Theater, so that we can go see plays and the Book of Mormon again. I guess it's going to be running again, so we became subscribers for that, and we'll be going to several different shows, including the Book of Mormon again.
When's that one coming again? Because I want to see it.
It's on the internet.
Well,
I don't remember the date. I got the tickets.
All internet.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was awesome, man. I like when you do your own little write-ups of things.
Thanks, man.
They're fun.
Phenomena.
Moving on to something that is you did not write up yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. We said we mentioned that you guys saw the headline for this, that a mentally ill man attempts suicide after the clinic that he was going to replaced his meds with Bible study. This comes to us from Raw Story. It's Alex Jacobson, 26, was suffering from mental exhaustion and anxiety. He hadn't slept for days despite being in a faith-based treatment program. He felt hopeless, and when he spotted a box knife, he grabbed it and held it against his neck, pressing it harder as it cut through his skin. This all happened 10 days after he stopped taking his medication, which was when he entered himself into the faith-based program, the Des Moines Register reports. He said he trusted his recovery to them and to God, and he almost died from it. Shocker, right?
Yeah, totally surprising.
The program replaced his mood stabilizers with a dose of Bible study, amino acids, and GABA supplements, which they told him would reduce stress. Reverend Kevin Grimes told him, quote, medicine alone wasn't going to be the answer to my problems. Just a year before that, Grimes isn't a doctor, nor has he ever received any training in pharmaceuticals or medicine. Of course, that didn't stop him from telling this kid that he didn't need medicine.
Right. That it doesn't matter what the people who actually specialize in this told you.
Yeah.
I'm a reverend.
Yeah.
He's irreverable. That's irrelevant. I was trying to go irrelevant and
he's irreverable.
Irreverentable.
Yeah, there we go. That works better. I'm like, I couldn't get it out.
Jacobson's father said that he called Reverend Hangis.
What? Wait, where are you? Oh.
Hangis?
Hangis.
To ask if his son could put a hold on starting the program so he could go through his scheduled evaluation for outpatient treatment at University of Iowa hospitals. He also said he warned Reverend Hangis about the prescription drugs his son was taking and inquired about the pastor's training. The pastor assured the father that his mentally ill son could make his own choices and would make the right decision, which kind of negates the whole mentally ill bit of things, right?
Yeah.
He also clarified that he is certified online as a faith-based Christian counselor by the International Institute of Bullshit. Faith-based counseling in Texas.
In Texas, even worse.
I bet we could get certified in that.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably just need to go and fill out a form and send them your money.
You gotta pay them, yeah.
Under Teen Challenges program, Jacobson was directed by a doctor as he safely and slowly worked his way off of his medication, But under the Dream Center where they sent him, Jacobson was required to stop taking his medication the day he signed the paperwork.
Yeah.
Which is fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Big time.
There are certain drugs that you can be on that if you just stop taking them, you can die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but neither Reverend Grimy Hands nor Hengis would know anything about that.
Just a few days later, Jacobson said that he told Reverend Hengis he, quote, wasn't feeling right and was suicidal, end quote. Hengis told him that the feelings would pass.
Wow, dude.
This too shall pass.
Even after you claim you have a degree in or whatever you've got in counseling, your best thing was when he came to you to get counseling, you said, you gotta fucking go away, now leave me alone.
No, that's bullshit.
It'll be fine. God will take care of everything. Yeah. Which at the same time negates why he would go and see these people either, right? I mean, if God is just going to take care of it, why does he have to go to a special spokesperson for God to do this?
It's kind of like why we no longer lock people into a small concrete cell with nothing but a Bible for a few years to see if they get better, because they go crazy.
Uh-huh.
They don't get better from that?
No.
Medical professionals who treated him after the suicide attempt told the family that he could have died from suddenly halting the use of his medication. The Society for the Study of Addiction lists insomnia, anxiety, fatigue, psychosis, and suicidal thoughts as symptoms of withdrawal, all of which Jacobson had. Jacobson's father blames Reverend Grimes.
Of course.
Reverends Grimes and Hengis for everything that happened and wants to know how a program can operate without any clinical experts on staff. Because it's a religious thing.
Yep. Ask the lawmakers how that's possible.
Yeah, because religion gets this special privilege of not having to answer to anybody but God.
Yeah.
Which means they don't answer to anybody.
Yep.
Clinics like these also manage to skirt Iowa state laws that mandate a license to operate.
Oh, God.
Grimes admits he and the program obviously didn't understand the extent of Jacobson's issues, and they have since changed the program's rules. He doesn't speak to Jacobson or his family anymore, thankfully. Quote, they do not have the medical or psychological training to do what they're doing, Jacobson's father said. If the state doesn't require some sort of oversight, this will happen to other families.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be allowed, period.
It's going to be all over the country,
no,
too.
It absolutely shouldn't. And we're looking once again at religious privilege, where they just say, no, God says it's okay, so you have to let us do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of shit bothers me a whole lot. I mean, why is it that because God said so gets a free pass for everything, except murder, right? If you kill somebody and said God told me to do it, then you're just crazy. Anything else short of fucking murdering somebody, it's just fine.
Even killing them indirectly is fine.
Well, yeah, clear. I mean, had this kid died, nobody would have gone to jail for this.
No.
It would have been just fine. Had they done it themselves and said, God commanded me to do this, then they'd be in trouble. Yeah. But if they had locked him in a room, I mean, we have cases of parents who do horrific things to their kids or just won't get them any fucking medical attention.
Starving them or beating them almost to death.
Yeah, and very rarely are they ever prosecuted or serve any bit of time for that because they were under the influence of God.
Yep.
And so then are absolved of any wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than doing anything like creating laws where you can't do that kind of thing anymore, they just say, well, we'll have to handle this on a case-by-case basis because religious freedom and God and blah, blah, blah.
No, that should be illegal.
It's because a lot of the people that would be doing the investigating or correcting, talk to the same guy. They believe in all that bullshit too, so.
And I think I just read it today that the shooter at the Colorado Planned Parenthood has been found insane.
Well, duh.
Yeah, of course.
That guy is fucking nuts.
Well, it just goes to prove your point.
He's a warrior for God.
Exactly, and he's insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Just going to prove the point that if you murder a bunch of people and you say you did it in the name of God, you're crazy.
Who's going to protect the babies?
Well, I mean, it did take, I don't know, 150 centuries or something for Christians to finally figure out that there's really no way to talk your way out of murder. So, like, when they're like, well, no, my God is good, and they're like, you just killed that guy. And they're like, yeah, well, they finally realized that they can't do that anymore. So it's only been the last few centuries where they start to poo-poo that kind of thing. But for the majority of their lifetime as a religion, they've been doing that, and it's been totally fine.
Yeah, and they don't give a shit one way or the other.
No.
Yeah.
Just as long as God can still have his say and people can do whatever stupid things they want to do in his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the bottom of that one, I saw something. I wanted to hint on it real quick while it's still in the brains.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the Two Skeptical Chaps, which we had on here about a month back, and they were referencing, well, they talked about us for a second, and talking about the new mayor in France.
Uh-huh.
And they noticed that over in Europe, they made no reference to him being Muslim, but yet all the American newspapers referenced it as being France's new Muslim mayor, the first Muslim mayor of France.
Yeah.
Durka, jihad.
And I was thinking about it, 'cause I'm like, no, he was right.
Yeah.
Here in America, they talk more about the religious aspect of it, even though this guy had a fatwa put up against him because he was supporting gay marriage and stuff. And he was supporting stuff that, is traditionally not Muslim supported.
So some bigoted imam somewhere put out a fatwa against him.
Because he's Muslim, even though he's more liberal Muslim. He's like, yeah, I'm Muslim, but I'm a politician too, and I can separate the two things.
We will silence him through violence.
Pretty much. So
Silence.
I think that is a condition of the United States to put your religion attached to what you're doing, especially when it's in France, where they just had, the Charlie Hebdo and the cafe shootings and stuff by Islamic terrorists, and now you got a Muslim mayor of the town. Yeah, America's going to be like, look at this, Sharia law is coming into effect.
Well, I hear that shit all the time here in America. Oh, he's a good Mormon boy. He's a good Catholic boy. The religion comes before anything else.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest reason why talking about religion, at least in the sense of like criticizing it, is such a bigger deal in the United States than any of the other civilized countries of the world, because that's the number one thing that most Americans tie to their identity. It's who they are, or so they think. I mean, it's a part, like they think you can tell more about who that person is by saying what their religion is. It's like one of the first things that comes out when you're trying to describe somebody. That's why they say, like, France elected a Muslim president.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to say, oh, I know exactly what that means.
It's Sharia law
even though they have no fucking idea.
No, but they think they do, and so that's what carries all the weight.
Bagala, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad, La Durka, Muhammad Jihad, Muhammad Jihad. Bak, Dirk Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bagala. Oh, Durka.
Got another story here. Earlier this week, I had posted on Facebook. It was on Sunday, actually, that I was watching. I'm trying to remember if it was on MSNBC News or because I watch two Sunday programs every week. I watch Meet the Press and I watch Fox News Sunday. And one of them, and it was Fox News, because I can remember Tracy saying, wow, Chris Wallace is actually asking him some kind of hard questions. It was a little shocking. But so North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory went on Fox News to try to defend North Carolina's bathroom bill.
Yeah.
And
hey, Bigfoot bill.
And said some of the most ridiculous, hateful, stupid things that I have ever heard.
He's usually so articulate.
Oh man. Well, he speaks fairly well. He's fairly articulate, but he's so stupid in a lot of the things that he says. One of the things that he said was that we can definitely define the race of people. And this was in response to a question Chris Wallace posed to him to say, okay, so North Carolina has created this law where transgender people can't use the bathroom that they identify with as a gender. So do you, Governor McCrory, think that it would be okay to say that, on somewhat of a similar thing, to say that, bathrooms could be segregated to whites only or blacks only? And McCrory said, well, we can definitely define the race of people. And I'm thinking about, when I'm watching this, the thought that went through my head was it just during our last episode or the one before, we were talking about, Okay, well, what do you do with people who you can't? I mean, you can't fucking easily determine the race of people.
Yeah.
You can't say this person is definitely black or this person is definitely white. There's no easy way to do that. Sure, with some people you can say, oh, Dan is, white
obviously
as fuck.
ginger.
Yeah, he's a poor, soulless ginger bastard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't do that with everybody. And so what do you do with them? And just to hear him say, well, we can definitely define the race of people. I thought, you ignorant fuck.
Yeah.
I like to think that every person's race is just the human one.
Yes. Which is exactly the comment that somebody posted on.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, somebody posted that. Actually, it was my friend Chad who said, I don't know the context, but I'm really hoping he meant the human race. Deep down, I know he likely didn't, however.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I thought it was interesting that after he said that then and had this somewhat contentious interview with Chris Wallace on Fox, that he went on CNN and basically doubled down on some of the really fucking stupid things that he was saying. So we've got this clip here that's about 4 minutes long that we'll just kind of go through and can address as he's speaking straight from the dumbass's mouth.
I've never discussed it in a campaign. It's the Democrats and the far left that have brought up this issue of needing bathroom laws.
They brought up the law, but then you signed a law to overrule their law. But here's another question, sir.
That's correct. I want to make that point. They made a mandate of bathroom laws on all private sector entities.
That was Charlotte.
And now the Justice Department has done the same thing.
Saying that you can't discriminate.
Yeah.
That you have to allow people to use whatever bathroom they identify with. You can't be a bigoted asshole about it. And for some reason, Pat McCrory thinks that's a really terrible thing.
Justice Department has done the same thing for everyone.
How do you plan on enforcing this on the ground at a public restroom?
Any way we've been doing it before, trespassing matters. I don't know how the Charlotte ordinance actually had a fine regarding for the private sector, and I didn't know how the liberals were going to enforce that either, and that needed to be asked. I think this...
So he doesn't know how it's going to be enforced even? Yeah. He'll write a law for something that's not a fucking problem, and he doesn't have any idea how he's going to enforce it, but he'll still waste state funds doing it.
Oh yeah, Republicans love to waste money and time on stupid shit.
You know, those financial conservatives.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that needed to be asked. I think this was an argument that we didn't need to have in this country.
Then why did you make the fucking law?
Yeah. Oh, you just didn't want any opposition? You just wanted to be able to write it and get it through and no problem? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he means.
In our state, but this is an agenda by the far left, and for some reason the national media is saying the far right brought this up.
You were
the ones who made this law. I don't know how he thinks he can work around that.
And the fact is that before all the other stuff that came out saying, they can use any bathroom they choose, that was the way it worked.
Yeah, they were already allowed to do it. It was a thing.
It was like reinforcing what you're already allowed to do. It wasn't,
interest in this subject, but now that the Justice Department is basically making a civil rights claim that every private sector employer in the United States and every university in the United States must have gender expression or gender identity bathroom choices for individuals, and this is not just in bathrooms. This is in shower facilities and in locker rooms or changing rooms.
Let's talk about schools and not universities. Let's talk about grade schools and high schools. As you may know, transgendered children have a very difficult time fitting in, being accepted. They have very high suicide rates. What are you telling the teachers at schools in North Carolina where, say, a 12-year-old who identifies as a girl, though her birth certificate said boy, what do you tell teachers about her if she's using the girl's bathroom? You're saying stop letting her use that bathroom?
No, I think we ought to make special circumstances for those individuals in a unisex restroom or shower, which I've encouraged by executive order in our universities. But now...
So how does that solve any problem? You've created a law where there wasn't a problem, and now you're having to make special exceptions
to your own law.
To your own law that you made that addressed no fucking problem in the beginning.
Yeah. So legislation on top of legislation when trying to somehow get back to something close to what we had in the first place.
Yeah, writing legislation on top of legislation that neither was needed, and I'll bet you that he is the same kind of fucking dumbass who would say that the IRS needs to go because have you seen the tax code?
Yeah.
It's so long.
Yeah. It's so confusing, and there's so many things that aren't necessary.
I just want to send him a postcard.
The Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department has deemed those types of arrangements to be discriminatory, that we cannot look for alternatives for these very sensitive needs for these, whether it be a junior high child or a college student.
But you just said, you just said they should have the 12-year-old.
All of a sudden now he's gonna
sympathize with
put
them?
on this act like he's sympathetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he feels really, really bad.
Junior high child or a college student.
But you just said,
and
you just said they should have the 12-year-old. You just said you're sensitive to those needs of like a 12-year-old transgender child, but you're not letting that girl use the girl's bathroom. You're saying they should use a special unisex bathroom. Are you not making
correct.
Are you not making that child's life much more difficult?
I'm also worried about the other kids.
I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to deflect and say I'm worried about something else.
So he doesn't want a transgender person using the restroom or locker room that they identify with, but yet he's going to make a unisex room where all the transgendered people can use it, where you're mixing both sexes together.
And where a transsexual person
and they'll be singled out.
Yeah, may be singled out even more and victimized even more.
Yeah.
Because then anybody can go into the bathroom.
We'll notice,
I'm also worried about the other kids, that there's an expectation of privacy for the other girls or other boys in their junior high locker rooms or shower facilities.
What expectation of privacy?
Yeah, what would be taken away by adding another human to the bathroom?
My only expectation is someone doesn't come up and grab my dick when I'm in there if they're another man.
Okay, but all I'm saying though is like, what we're saying is you have. I'm not talking to Ryan. I'm just trying to.
Well, it's kind of an expectation. You don't think someone's going to walk into the bathroom and grab you?
True.
Sure.
That's an expectation.
But that's not an expectation of privacy. That's just an expectation
of personal privacy
that you won't be molested when you're out in public.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, so you have a men's and a women's room, and if I'm in a public men's room and another person walks in, is that a violation of my right to privacy?
I think Pat McCrory would say possibly.
He would have to say yes, because what he just said.
I mean, if they're in the stall next to you peeing and they're just staring at you the whole time, you might get a little creeped out because that's weird. But
because if he says no to what I just said, that it's totally fine, then the only issue left is the fact that person's trans.
Yeah.
And that's a violation of privacy. And that is discrimination. And that is why we're worried about this law you wrote, sir.
That's why I kind of was offhand saying, someone's staring at you or grabbing your dick, because it's not what people do. They go to the bathroom to use the fucking bathroom.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck about what the person next to me is doing. If they were jerking me off in the stall, I might leave because that's just uncomfortable.
It makes you a little bit awkward.
Okay, I'll leave you to your thing. I'm going to go find another bathroom. But they're just going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They're not going in there to stare at your junk. They're not going in there to molest you. They're not going in there to, try to have sex with you unless you're a fucking Republican. So,
and even if they were going into there to have sex with you, how does that handle the situation of somebody who may be gay or bi who's going to the same bathroom, right? It's a non-issue.
Yeah. What is this obsession with thinking that LGBT people have this voracious sexual appetite that they can't even control, and that public restrooms are their favorite forum to exercise those.
It's all projection, right? It's if Pat McCrory had his option to go into a woman's restroom, he would be molesting every fucking woman he could see.
Yeah.
And he thinks that everybody else is going to do the same thing.
Locker rooms or shower facilities, that the only other people coming into there are.
That's the other thing, too, I noticed, that every time he talks about this, he talks about locker rooms and he throws in or shower facilities because that gives you the hint that people will be completely nude.
Yeah, and he doesn't do it without
they won't be in their own shower stall. They may be at a communal shower where there's a pillar and a bunch of shower heads around this pillar.
And I'm fairly certain that most transgender people wouldn't feel comfortable going in either of those areas to shower or bathe or do any, so they probably won't utilize that facility anyways.
Yeah.
It's all that fucking Christianity, religion's obsession with sex and shame.
And what you've got between you.
That's what happens here because, anyway.
That the only other people coming into there are the people of that same gender, built as the same gender. And can you imagine the potential problem there? So
that's the bigotry.
We need to work through these problems and not throw hand grenades at this issue.
That's what you did.
It's a new sensitive issue on all sides, for families, for young girls and boys, and for the transgender population. But to have the the Justice Department come out with a massive interpretation of the Civil Rights Act for every employer in the United States now is something.
And say that everybody deserves the same civil rights. That's just crazy.
Yeah, what a massive interpretation.
And once again, it's not new.
No.
Employer in the United States now is something that I think needs clarification by the federal courts. And frankly, I think there's a time where the Republicans and Democrats in the Congress.
Real quick, and as kind of a sidetrack, it is very important, and I hope that it doesn't necessarily have to go to a federal court, but if it does, we need to ensure that the people sitting on the federal court aren't backward right-wing theocrats who would reverse any kind of progress towards civil liberties for everybody, right? So whether you like Hillary Clinton or not, if she is the eventual nominee, you should vote for her over Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
Because the presidency is important, sure, but what they can do as a president that would have ramifications for decades,
more this
and
time
generations,
than any other.
Yeah, and for decades and generations after they leave office is what you should be concerned about.
Yeah, because if you don't vote for Hillary, you're going to be allowing Trump to sit on the Supreme Court or be the president for the next 60 years.
Yeah. And that is the most important thing that we're talking about here. Sure, the presidency is important, but what they will do while they are in office that will have ramifications for decades and generations is more important than just who's going to be sitting in the Oval Office.
Yep. Need to revisit the 1964 Civil Rights Act and revisit all this issue because these are complex issues. And
no, they're not.
North Carolina, for whatever reason, politically has become the target.
Because you made yourself the fucking target.
You painted a giant fucking target on your back, dumbass. That's how this happens.
Yep.
The fact that you can't see that means that you should not be in office.
Not only that, but he's going right back into the Christian I'm the victim bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, poor me.
Yep.
I was a giant asshole, and now people are calling me out for it.
Yep.
Become the target by the left on this agenda, and now they're going to be moving to other states. And it requires sensitive discussion and sensitive debate, which
something he is wholly incapable of doing.
Yeah. Now that you've gotten this kicked off in a brutal way, you're going to turn around and say, "Well, but all right, but let's just talk about this, fellas. Let's
Can't we all just get along? Come on,
be nice to me."
Sensitive discussion and sensitive debate, which the nation has not had, but now we're in this situation.
Thank you so much, Governor. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jake.
Well, the thing is, the rest of us in this country have had the discussion, asshole. We can't help it that your fucking state and the surrounding states are so far behind that you've never heard of this before.
Yeah, as I watched him on Sunday, I was glad that I hadn't been drinking anything other than coffee. And that I had just slept the night before. Like, I was really close to throwing something at the television in the basement.
But you were in that calm little bit of a Zen mode in the morning.
It pulled me right out of it. But had I had, just a little kick in the shorts, I would have fucking, oh man. And then, Tracy's wandering in and out of the room as I'm watching it, and I'm yelling at the TV, and she's coming in to see what I'm yelling at, and she's like, that guy's just a giant fucking dick, isn't he? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, he really is.
Someone needs to just sit down with him and say, okay, we'll make this super simple. One question. Are trans people human or not? And force him to answer that. I guarantee he's going to try to dodge it. Well, it's more specific. It's a much more complicated issue than that. Yeah. No. Are they human or not? Because he knows the second he said he can't say no, because then he knows that's. But the second he says yes, then you say okay. Then civil rights applies to them as well.
Yeah.
And you're fucking done. Get out of here.
Well, and to say that we need to revisit the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
What bit of the Civil Rights Act does he not agree with currently? that blacks can vote.
Right.
I mean, what is his problem? That they can share the same bathrooms with us? And that's where I was like, okay, he's kind of doubling down on the whole thing with Chris Wallace, where Chris Wallace was like, so should we be able to segregate bathrooms into whites and blacks only? Mm-hmm. To have him say that we should revisit the Civil Rights Act? Who the fuck are you, Rand Paul?
Yeah, no shit.
Or David Duke. He might be David Duke.
Could be David Duke.
Rand Duke.
Rand Duke.
He's David Duke, the Rand Wizard.
There are white folks, and then there are ignorant motherfuckers like you.
Well, what else do you got, Matt?
I got this.
Okay.
Kermit is thinking.
He's looking at the
time. James Edward Loftus.
The name sounds familiar.
It should. Is facing murder charges in the deaths of taxi driver Guma Ozdubar and his friend James Cody Newland. March 5th, after they demanded he pay his fare following a ride home from the strip club. While Loftus has given police varying accounts of what happened that evening, once saying he invited the men in, while another time saying they barged into his home, several facts are not in dispute. Loftus admitted that he shot both men before dragging their bodies outside his house, where he placed them in a shallow grave and set them on fire along with the bloody clothes before burying them.
You're giving me these looks, Matt, like this happened in Wisconsin.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Quote, they were essentially just slow cooked inside the gravesite, Deputy Solicitor Brian Alfaro said during the bail hearing.
Jeez.
Conceded that what Loftus did is heinous. His attorney defended his client, saying he was within his rights to defend himself in his own home under the state's stand your ground laws.
By setting someone on fire after you've killed them?
What?
Quote, he's a human being. He freaked out and thought he was going to prison, so he tried to hide the bodies. Nobody knows how this...
You know, like you would do after you murdered someone.
Yeah, after you committed a crime.
Nobody knows how you're going to react when you kill two people.
That's what I'd do.
Definitely
That's what his attorney said.
Dig a shallow grave and set everything on fire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a totally sane response.
Circuit Judge Markley Dennis, Markley, agreed to allow Loftus to post a $250,000 bail, saying his choice of the defense makes him less of a flight risk.
What?
His choice of a defense?
I don't know.
That he was just defending himself?
His choice of the defense.
Huh.
Quote, the only way he'll ever be able to resolve that is to have his day in court, says Markley.
What if he doesn't really care to resolve it?
Uh-huh.
What if he just cares to go to Mexico and live in a hacienda for the rest of his life?
I'd go drinking margaritas for a while if I had killed a couple people and set them on fire and then let out on bail.
Uh-huh.
Knew you were going to jail for the rest of your life?
And then somehow miraculously got a bail.
Yeah.
Got approved. The South Carolina Protection of Persons and Property Act, also known as Stand Your Ground, gives homeowners the right in many circumstances to use deadly force against people breaking into their homes. So great job with all your common sense laws, South Carolina.
Yay. You in Florida should go bowling.
Yeah. Fucking what, man? That is crazy.
I want to know what they would use for bowling pins, though.
Yeah, no shit. Huh?
Human heads?
Probably. That'd be the balls. Legs.
Yeah, actually, if you could cut it at the knee and stand the calf up, that would be a pretty close to the right shape with the feet in the air.
Pretty good. Well, it's a pretty good analog, but, I mean, do you put the foot toward where the ball would be coming or away from it?
Probably. I think it's got to be heel back.
Yeah, I mean, heel back.
Well, but then it makes it that much harder to tip over.
Fuck it. You already got the saw out. Get rid of the foot.
Get rid of the foot.
Just go knee to ankle.
But then it's harder to balance.
We've already got the name for it. Geen Lanes.
Geen Lanes. Nice.
It's a grand time for everybody.
You can even wear the rest if you want.
You could actually
you can make your own
coats and lampshades,
your own costume / skin suit.
Yeah, you could stuff the colon with whatever material you need to make your ball. And then you could just call it bowling. You don't even have to change. You don't have to change the spelling.
You'd have to add an E.
Would you for
bowling? Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Because right now it's bowl.
Yeah.
Bowel. Yes. Add an E. God damn it. Never mind.
So in something that made me both happy and sad at the same time.
Fuck this guy.
Judge Roy Moore of Alabama has been suspended over his stance on gay marriage.
After he'd already been suspended and reelected.
Yeah.
He had been actually removed from the bench for his stance on having the 10 Commandments there in Alabama, and saying that he would lose his job over it, which apparently most people were okay. Fine, you have no more job. And then the fine voters of Alabama elected him to office again to sit on the bench again, and he's since been suspended again because he's a bigoted shithead.
I mean, is this a 2-strike rule here? Is this like some
does that apply to
get kicked out twice?
To
you
judges?
Can't come back. Sorry,
you would think that there would be some governing oversight body that would say you've lost your license to practice law. You can't be a judge anymore either because of this. You can't hold elected office. It doesn't matter.
I seriously doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, they know how brutal the laws are that we have to live under. They don't do that to themselves or each other. No, I'm serious. It's funny, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't do that to each other.
An Alabama judicial oversight body on Friday filed a formal complaint against Roy Moore, the Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court, that's Alabama again, charging that he had, quote, flagrantly disregarded and abused his authority in ordering the state's probate judges to refuse applications for marriage licenses by same-sex couples. As a result of the charges, Chief Justice Moore, 69,
nice,
has been immediately suspended from the bench and is facing a potential hearing before the state's Court of the Judiciary, a panel of judges, lawyers, and other appointees. Among possible outcomes at such a hearing would be his removal from office, in which I would delight.
But I'd delight more if there's not a chance he could be elected again.
Possibly. But I mean, can you just be continually removed from your seat for being a giant dickbag and re-voted in by the rest of the dickbags who support you? I don't understand how that works.
Is there any way we could shoot him and light him on fire?
Put him in a shallow grave, set him on fire.
He's got to come through your front door first, so you got to invite him in.
Oh, okay, so we got like a vampire.
You have to be able to stand your ground. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what if I want to stand my ground for LGBT?
Well, he's got to come into your house still.
Ah, God damn it.
So just invite him over and shoot him.
For some 69ing?
Yes.
Quote, we intend to fight this agenda vigorously and expect to prevail, Chief Justice Moore said in a statement, saying that the Judicial Inquiry Commission, which filed the complaint, had no authority over the charges at issue. Pretty sure that if they can remove you from office, they have some authority
he's in love with
over the charges at issue.
He thinks he's the king of earth, though.
No, but these are also the same people that believe that state rights trump federal rights, so it's like the federal government has no say in what goes on here. State rights.
He has dominion over us lesser animals.
Right, yeah.
Referring to a transgender activist in Alabama, Chief Justice Moore said the commission had, quote, chosen to listen to people like Ambrosia Starling, a professed transvestite, and other gay, lesbian, and bisexual individuals, as well as organizations which support their agenda, end quote.
Well, you were trying to make them second-class citizens, so of course they revolted.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It is the second complaint lodged by the state's Judicial Inquiry Commission against the judge. In 2003, he was ousted by the same body from his position as Chief Justice after disobeying a federal court order to remove a 2-ton monument of the 10 Commandments that he had installed in the rotunda of the state judicial building. And then he was elected to that office again 9 years later.
Yeah.
Because he's a good God-fearing individual.
I would have loved to have seen Baphomet in there.
Yes. That would have been good. The complaint lists 6 charges against Chief Justice Moore and lays out several violations of the state's canons of judicial ethics. Richard Cohen, the president for the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has filed a series of complaints to the commission, said Chief Justice Moore has, quote, disgraced his office for far too long. For the good of the state, he should be kicked out of office, he added. Chief Justice Moore held a news conference last week at which he argued he was upholding the law as he interpreted it in his capacity as a judge. This is about legalism, he said, wearing his judicial robe and speaking to reporters in the rotunda of the state judicial building. There's nothing in writing that you'll find that I told anybody to disobey a federal court order. Nothing in writing.
Yep.
But you did defy
because he said this all.
Yeah.
On Friday, his lawyer, Matthew Staver, yay, our friend Matt Staver with one T.
Oh, yeah. God.
You may remember Matt Staver from such bullshit antics as defending Kim Davis.
So successfully, I might add.
Yeah.
That she went to fucking
so
jail.
Successfully, he couldn't even get her husband fucking clothes.
On Friday, Mr. Staver made a similar argument, insisting the matter at hand was one that could only be decided by the United States Supreme Court. Again, make sure to vote blue, people.
Yeah. See, isn't Staver one of those family council guys too? Was he on one of those things?
Like the American Family Association or
something?
Yeah,
one of the really bigoted,
I know he's a member of the JLC or whatever, ACLJ? Yeah, the ACLJ.
Okay.
The religious rights answer to the ACLU.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Quote, the Judicial Inquiry Commission has no jurisdiction to resolve legal disputes, Matt Staver said, and the complaint is solely focused on a legal dispute between federal and state courts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's me wiping my hands with this guy, because he's just
see ya.
A terrible person.
I feel obliged to clear something up from what I said right before we went into this about about the laws that they don't enforce on each other, and how it sounded awfully libertarian of me about the laws that we live under. But what I was thinking of specifically was the 3 strikes law in relation to the war on drugs.
Oh yeah.
That's brutal. That's
yes.
that's a brutal law that we live under.
Some states don't even have a 3-strike law. It's a 0-strike law.
Yeah. Some of the southern states, yeah.
Well, yeah, but isn't it? It's at the federal level that it's the 3 strikes law,
I think,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yep. Which basically, if you don't know, that's the law that can put you away for 25 to life for having a little bit of pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. On 3 separate occasions.
Yeah, but on the 3rd strike, yeah.
Yeah.
Lifetime for marijuana possession.
Yep.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But you can be a Catholic priest and molest hundreds of children, and they'll just move you to a different parish.
Fine. USA.
You'll be
We're
fine. It'll be great. Everyone gets to be raped.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
I don't believe there's such a thing as free will in the sense of a ghost in the machine, a spirit or soul that somehow reads the TV screen of the senses and pushes buttons and pulls levers of behavior. There's no sense that we can make of that. I think our behavior is the product of physical processes in the brain. On the other hand, when you have a brain that consists of 100 billion neurons connected by 100 trillion synapses, there is a vast amount of complexity that means that human choices will not be predictable in any simple way from the stimuli that have impinged on it beforehand. We also know that brain is set up so that there are at least 2 kinds of behavior. There's what happens when I shine a light in your eye and your iris contracts, or I hit your knee with a hammer and your leg jerks upward. We also know that there's a part of the brain that does things like choose what to have for dinner, whether to order chocolate or vanilla ice cream, how to move the next chess piece, whether to pick up the paper or put it down. That is very different from your iris closing when I shine a light in your eye. That second kind of behavior, one that engages vast amounts of the brain, particularly the frontal lobes, that incorporates an enormous amount of information in the causation of the behavior, that has some mental model of the world that can predict the consequences of possible behavior and select them on the basis of those consequences. All of those things carve out the realm of behavior that we call free will, which it is useful to distinguish from brute involuntary reflexes, but which doesn't necessarily have to involve some mysterious soul.
Going from sad, I got some funny.
Oh yeah, what's that?
More Facebook friend stuff says shitty fucking weird things.
Oh, nice. Is this your crazy friend that we talked about last week?
Yeah.
Can we make this a regular segment?
That's what I'm going to try to do.
We need to come up with a name for it.
We will find one. Hey, if you got an idea for the name of this thing, send it to us.
Yeah, send it to us at GodlessRebelution@gmail.com or Twitter on Twitter at TGR Podcast. Or call and leave us a message at 330-81-REBEL.
So, I went back, so I wanted to find more. He didn't say anything extremely crazy this week. I figured this is a new thing.
I imagine it's a gold mine, though. Like, the farther you dig,
the more I find.
Yeah, you'll find the mother lode
especially if I go through all of his comments.
Oh, yeah.
So, back in April, this is what he had to say. Since there was a war in heaven, as St. Michael fought to cast out Satan, does that mean there is free will in heaven today? Or is it just for the angels?
Not enough information? Is that an answer? Not enough information.
Yeah. I need more.
Especially when he threw in the today part. Does that mean we have free will today?
Well, in heaven today.
In heaven today.
Not yesterday? No.
Yeah.
Not
well,
before
I think he means currently, but
I think the big thing he's questioning is when we go to heaven, are you still slaves to your religion? Or
right. But I mean, obviously, if there's a war between ideas, there clearly was free will. But what he's asking is does that still exist there? I would say no.
Well, is it his question, I take it as, is free will for the people or just for the angels?
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I would say just for the angels.
Well, doesn't everybody who goes to heaven become an angel?
That's not what I think he thinks.
Like, every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
I think he expects that he gets to go to heaven and watch fucking Jesus' cock all day long.
Clarence!
Then, just like the same day he posted that one. This is a good one though. Very interesting info.
I'm sure it is. I can hardly wait. Yeah.
You will notice that every religion and sect was founded by men, except Christianity.
What?
And then in quotations, he has man and God as Jesus. However, among Christianity, only Catholicism was founded by Jesus, while all other Christian denominations and their religions were founded by men, including evangelicals and fundamentalism. Even atheism and agnostics were found by men.
Fundamentalism? Does he think fundamentalism is its own religion?
I think so.
Not only that, but it's separate separate from evangelical.
Yes.
Like
well, he says evangelical / fundamentalism. So the same.
What religion are you? I'm a fundamentalist.
I go to the First Fundamentalism Church.
Even atheists and agnosticism was founded by men. Yes, they are listed as a religion, most likely because they are belief systems of doubting higher power.
Oh, this guy. How do you know this guy?
He's the guy I worked on a few little short films with and stuff that I don't really want to work with anymore.
Does he fall down a lot?
I think so.
Yeah.
Has he fallen down in the past a lot? Like onto his head?
I think so.
Repeatedly?
Okay.
That's got me thinking about the free will in heaven, though. I'm going to keep thinking about that. Go ahead.
Well, this one here might answer the question. This is going to be the last one right here. To ask you if he's fallen on his head. What in the world? Some weird smoke came out of my sleeves. I'm wearing a jacket. But it didn't really smell and was only temporary. It looked like incense. I said a prayer over my meal several minutes before it happened. Crazy. Spontaneous combustion? I don't know.
What?
I wonder if he uses talcum powder.
Oh my God. Or he sees things. Because the Catholics love incense.
Or I'm picturing like Pigpen, just this cloud of shit around him all the time.
I've never been like, oh, look, weird smoke coming out of my arm.
I know.
Let me pray again.
The gym is really paying off. These guns are smoking.
Well, oh God. So, and clearly this guy prays all the time.
Every day.
And he does all these things. Does he think his God is that capricious and that much of a dick that he would just allow him to catch fire after he said a prayer earlier in the day?
And then wonder about it with no answers for the rest of his life.
So, a backstory behind this guy. So apparently he didn't come back to Christianity until like 3 years ago, when he said he was having a war with Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Where demons had possessed his body, and it was coming back to Christianity that solved this. So this totally could just be him being like, well, I prayed a little while ago, so maybe that's some smoke of Satan coming off me that I prayed and got rid of some evil things going on.
Oh my God. Has anybody like tried to tell this guy he should maybe seek some professional help?
I would like to, but he's got enough people on his Facebook that are just as crazy as him that are always like praising the things he says, and I'm like, how the
Praise
fuck?
Jesus, hallelujah, let's bathe in his blood.
Pretty much.
Oh, man.
Yep.
These are the people that I actually feel bad for. Like, religion has harmed these people and continues to harm them, and as Dr. Darrell Ray would say, spreads like a virus through everybody who has been harmed by it already.
Right. One good thing is this guy is basically taking a vow of celibacy.
Oh, good. So he won't be breeding.
So he won't be breeding.
Oh. Whew.
Which is good.
Can wipe the sweat off my brow about that one then.
Yeah.
No, but really, is there free will in heaven?
Going back to that.
We can start off by saying heaven's bullshit.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying it's
on a philosophical standpoint.
Yeah, because I think that because we talked about hell at one point. I think this could be very theologically confounding because
it absolutely is. It's fun topic to talk about. Yeah,
you've talked about it before.
Well, not on the show, but yeah,
like
it's something I've thought about.
I don't think I've ever really thought about it.
Yeah,
because I think we could beg to say that free will does not exist on Earth. If you go with the whole omnipotent God, if you believe in an omnipotent, omnipresent God, free will's
and this gets
bullshit.
into the whole question of free will and determinism here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
And if heaven can be a paradise,
you would think
do you have free will in heaven?
You would have free will.
Can you exercise free will in heaven? Can you have the free will to sin?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
And if you did sin in heaven with your free will, would you go to hell?
Because if that's the case, then it's not going to be very long before heaven's empty again. Because everyone with unlimited time and unlimited options, everyone's going to end up in hell. Or do people in heaven just have all that stuff, and then God just turns a blind eye to the sin?
I'm excited to talk about this.
Okay, so
he just decides to ignore it in the ones that are in heaven, but not for the people who are in hell. Those people have to deal with it for eternity. But in heaven, those people he just ignores.
But maybe he'd be okay with it up there, because obviously God would be an asshole if he was real fucking creating all these diseases and he's kind of a prick. He's that 8-year-old with a magnifying glass fucking with the ants.
Yeah,
so he wouldn't have any problem with people killing each other up there. He'd probably have it as a blood sport.
Yeah, I'm excited about this topic, actually. I actually discussed it with my kids. Not the whole heaven aspect of it, but just free will and determinism. Over the weekend when we did the Mother's Day thing, and they came over to the house for a little while and everything, and it was interesting. And part of it goes back to some of the discussion we had pre-show that we should think about and maybe have a show about this, because it's very interesting to me, the whole bit of free will and determinism, and in the afterlife, if there's such a thing as free will.
Well, why don't we do it next week?
Well,
no, let's do it
in 2 weeks.
Or next week. Maybe.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we could do it next week.
Before we start, I just want to ask Sam one question. What is the consensus, do you think, in the scientific community about your argument? I mean, you've mentioned that there are schools of thought, people like Daniel Dennett, who have a different view. How close do you think we are to some kind of universal declaration of the illusory nature of free will?
Well, it's just the state of affairs is really that most people just don't want to think about it. I mean, most people just think that most people are powerfully, their intuitions are powerfully shaped by the illusion, the sense that they have the freedom to consciously author their thoughts and actions. So people feel that there is a compelling subjective mystery, and that no one has been able to give an argument about how it would map onto physical reality, but people feel that the experience is so compelling that there's just no reason to worry about it. This is the state from which we need to live. Then there are people like Dan who have a different, from my view, essentially change the subject. I mean, the disagreement between Dan and myself is essentially this. It's like we're living in a world where most people believe in Atlantis. And they believe in the underwater kingdom, and they read Plato closely, trying to figure out where it was. And I want to say Atlantis doesn't exist. It didn't exist. People are confused about Atlantis. Dan wants to say that Atlantis is really Sicily, And he'll give a whole argument about why Sicily answers to many of the claims that people are making about Atlantis. And I want to say, no, but they're still talking about being underwater. Now, Sicily doesn't do that. And he says, well, Sicily is a great place, and there's reasons to visit, and let's talk about Sicily. And when he and I argue about this, he begins to respond to me as though I'm saying Sicily doesn't exist. And that's what, so there's a fair amount of talking past one another in these kinds of debates. Of course Sicily exists, but the people who are talking about an underwater kingdom are at the very least confused, and that's the situation we're in with free will.
That'll lead nicely into this story.
Okay, what is it?
Hot damn.
Pop culture.
Pop it like a zit.
Has been
pop music.
Bop.
Bop. Bop. Is this song not familiar with you? We both
the
probably
Hansons.
did a really no.
Bop.
No.
That's where I was going with it.
No. Oh
if that's the song you guys were doing, Dan butchered it.
I did.
Bop, bop.
No, I totally. Everybody talk about pop music.
Oh no, I don't know.
Not those one. That was what I was doing.
That's way more 80s.
I totally did butcher it and fuck it up completely, but yeah.
Where did our computer go? Oh, there it goes.
I bumped the mouse. Sorry.
Pop culture has a growing fascination with the occult, from zombies to vampires to Hogwarts and horoscopes, and even witches and Ouija boards. The mystical, unknown, and undead seem to dominate TV and movie screens.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
All the fucking ghost hunters shows and that
those
bullshit.
are just fucking annoying.
All of the psychics and fucking the what is she? The New Jersey the giant
the psychic
fucking bouffant hairdo lady,
the medium.
What is her name?
Long Island Medium.
Yeah, Long Island Medium. Yeah,
I can't remember.
And she's been called out to be fake fucking plenty of times.
Something or other. I think she's an awful person. She's a terrible human being.
Yeah, because she's fucking preying on people's.
Yeah, that's what they all do.
Yep. While many celebrate this phenomenon, I'm going to do that all fucking night. I'm going to do that all goddamn night. I don't know why I keep seeing O-N. It just continues forever when I read that fucking word. Phenomenon.
I got hit by lightning twice, and there were very little effects. The doctor says I'm totally fine.
Great Outdoors?
No. Actually, I was doing a bit of a riff on The Simpsons, where Homer Simpson does something, and then he says, "There's no brain damage."
I did it! I pulled it out! And with no brain damage.
I was thinking of The Great Outdoors when they got the old guy that comes walking into the cafe and he's been struck by lightning like 100 times and he's all like twitchy.
In the head.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
He's been struck by lightning. How many times is it now, Reg?
6 times. 66 times.
I need to watch that movie again. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Is it appropriate for Christians to get caught up in the zombie zeitgeist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apologist and aspiring bestseller via fearmongering, Jeremiah Johnston doesn't think so.
They worship a zombie.
Mm-hmm. Just wait.
Well, if you want to be technical, I guess he's a lick.
Is it a lick or a lich?
I don't know, something like that. L-I-C-H.
I think it's lich, right?
He was dead for 3 days and came back as a fucking zombie.
By and large, a majority of Americans say they've had a personal connection to the paranormal.
No.
According to Johnston, 71% say they've had paranormal experiences and 37% believe in ghosts, while 56% believe those ghosts are spirits of the dead.
Ooh. All these people say that because it makes for a cool and fun story.
Mm-hmm. So is watching paranormal-themed TV shows and movies simply a normal extension of those experiences?
No.
Yes.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment.
Well, it's a normal extension of those experiences or purported experiences.
If you take it as reality, which I do not take it as reality
well,
at
yeah,
all.
but I mean, it's still a normal extension that people would say that they've had these experiences and then go, oh, yeah, I'm going to watch all these things because it really happens.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After all, the mainstream hit show The Walking Dead resonated with more than 22 million viewers during its 5th season premiere alone, and that's probably safe to say that plenty of those viewers were Christian. Is there any harm in a little paranormal entertainment? All paranormal entertainment isn't as harmless as it may seem.
Bum, bum, bum.
In fact, some entertainment can have treacherous results.
And I would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for you meddling kids.
I like that he says, in fact, and then goes on to talk about paranormal bullshit.
Yeah. Let Satan in the rectum.
There's got to be another thing we can use for that.
In fact.
In fable, some entertainment can have treacherous results. There you go. I don't know why I did that in morning zoo radio voice. In fable, some entertainment can have treacherous results.
I feel like we need a horn honking and a fart noise.
Yeah.
I'll get a keyboard.
To Christians who are just curious about the hereafter and dabble on the dark side using games and contact spirits, Johnston issued a stern warning. Quote, "The paranormal is a slippery slope, and it always starts with a Ouija board or reading a horoscope, something that just seems harmless. Once you open that door to the demonic, it's very difficult to close."
Because God can't help you?
Yes.
Close the door?
Yeah,
Yes.
lock it?
Like the demons are so powerful.
What's a locket going to do for you?
Well, it helps when you're masturbating.
To have a locket?
Oh, no, lock the door, lock it.
Oh. Just wear a locket and you'll get off faster. Demons hate lockets.
They do, especially when it's got pictures of your mom in it.
Are we talking about a semen demon?
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Oh, that went south quick.
The author's book pointed to a 2006 study in which he found that 73% of teens have participated in contacting the dead and engaged in other related witchcraft activities beyond the more pedestrian exposure from entertainment channels and horoscopes.
Yeah, I sacrificed a chicken once. That's a lie.
Once?
Twice. The first time I had to make sure it didn't.
I sacrificed a chicken once. Once? It was a lie. More than once?
Yeah. Wanted to make sure the first time wasn't a fluke.
Sadly, only 28% of the youth said they had learned anything at church to help educate them on the supernatural.
That's everything they learn at church.
God. Sunday school is failing them.
I wish that for one moment, this guy could hear how fucking silly he sounds to us. He'd never, ever talk again.
I mean, they should teach him in Sunday school about leprechauns and not chasing rainbows and looking for the gold.
Right.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Leprechauns can have treacherous results.
Oh, it can, because leprechauns, they...
Close the door and lock it.
Yeah.
Lock it.
Lock it.
Lock out that demon semen.
Lock it
I
up.
blame Kermit, because someday
demon.
he'll find it, that rainbow connection.
Along the same lines, Johnston warned Christians about the pitfalls of consulting psychic ministers who claim to be able to speak to the dead.
They all ministers do that.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
Can this guy not hear the words coming out of his mouth?
No, he can't.
Jesus ain't exactly alive.
In fact, he wrote the words down in a book and read them as well, so he has no fucking idea.
I blew myself.
All right. Quote, you'll love this part. He says, quote, "Astonishingly, some psychics, mediums, and necromancers..."
I've been astonished the whole time.
"claim to be Christians in order to lure new clients." Johnston wrote in a book, adding that over 300 psychics in America also claim to be ordained ministers. They advertise the fact that you are not consulting any ordinary medium, but an ordained medium.
Okay.
On a side note, he also thinks centaurs would make great pets.
Real quick, the thought just occurred to me that every Christian who prays and thinks that they speak with Jesus is a psychic fucking medium.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
They all believe they're talking to dead people.
Yeah.
God.
I know. Johnston fully marries the pot to the kettle by saying that he takes umbrage with mediums who claim to be ordained. Quote, "These people are charlatans. They give false names. They rip people off. I get really passionate about this because I have buried children of parents and have seen how, in a grieving state, that parent will do anything to contact the child after death. Anything. They have a target on their backs, and these liars, these charlatans claiming to be Christians, target them with some kind of would-be clairvoyance. The church has an opportunity to really minister to those who are grieving, to be there for them, be there and be present so they don't have to feel like they need to go to a psychic for some kind of closure. What are you doing, dude?
Jeez.
You're so stupid.
Oh, he did.
Oh, man. According to Johnston, discernment and the principle of the priesthood of all believers are key, close the door and lock it, to establishing balance
lock it tight,
and boundaries when dealing with the many iterations of the paranormal.
That was amazing.
What a fucking asshole.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Wow. Wow,
really? Wow, really, Dr. Johnston? Wow, really, really.
We talked last week of that. I don't say wow very often. That's fucking wow. I can't.
You gotta do it in the voice.
Wow.
There you go.
I don't know. Say it again. I'll stab you with an ice pick.
What an asshole.
Holy shit. That is like a complete and utter lack of any bit of introspection or
it's cognitive dissonance to the extreme.
I wonder, run amok.
Those things are so compartmentalized that there's no intersecting.
I wonder if they read what they write down.
This is real and that's not.
Wow.
Well, of course he did, but his is real and theirs isn't.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
I'd like to have a conversation with that guy, too. I want to be friends with him.
Completely different. Oh, I bet he would be annoying.
Well, so would Ryan's friend, but I still want to be friends with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
just for the comedic relief. If
that friend's the same one where, I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but I think I talked about it before the show a few weeks ago, where I was having the argument with him where he's a truther with the school shootings.
Oh, God. With the Sandy Hook shit?
Yeah. Thing that they're all a government cover up.
Oh, no, he did.
Their plants. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like,
false flag.
It could happen.
Flag.
It
false
could happen.
Flag.
Yeah. And this guy came and hold a gun.
What?
He came and hold a gun, right? So he doesn't even.
Oh.
I'm serious.
Okay.
He's a pussy. He's never been to jail.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's a pussy.
He didn't even have a criminal record.
No.
Didn't even have a juvenile record.
I've been handcuffed and taken to jail.
Uh-huh.
You haven't lived till you've done it.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those experiences you got to have in life.
Can you remember it, though?
No. But I know it happened.
Put the cuffs on and lock it.
I got bailed out. I remember that.
Did you have a picture of your mom with you?
No. My mom actually didn't find out about that until 2 years later.
Ah.
I kept it a secret.
Has your sister listened to the last episode of the show yet? Do you know?
I don't know. She hasn't said anything. I told my mom.
Oh, you told your mom about it?
I told your mom about it. My mom, not your mom. I told my mom about it.
What did my mom have to say?
Well, I told your mom that I would get her a poster-sized picture.
Who are you again?
That would be the weirdest conversation.
You don't know me, but I figured I'd just call you and tell you that I posed naked for a calendar.
Also, I went to jail once and I don't remember
Also, I know your son, so.
So he says this is cool. So I called your mom on Mother's Day, and I told my mom about it, and then I said,
"You told your mom about calling my mom?"
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm seeing other moms.
Yeah, it's happening. I apologize. So I told her, I'm like, hey, so I thought for Mother's Day I'll get you a giant poster-sized naked photo of me, and she declined.
Oh, did that hurt your feelings or make you feel good?
No, I kind of figured she would decline. 'Cause it's kind of like, what's that?
Mom, you've seen it all before.
That Greek thing going in reverse.
Oedipus?
Yeah, Oedipus in reverse. That's basically what it would have been in my mind. I'm like, sorry if
yeah.
That's creepy. And I was trying to be creepy with my mom on the phone. So, goal achieved.
Nice.
Just gets a life-size.
You were like, yes.
Life-size cutout of it.
You out.
Creeped out moms.
And then my dad's just like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. So
we'll hang it in the kitchen.
So how many people are going to see this? I'm like, whoever buys it. Oh, okay. And then I went back today to pose for more nude photos. So
did you use any props today?
Yes, my firefighter gear. So I did. They wanted me to come back and do the stereotypical fireman.
Were you holding your hose?
It's not allowed to be in the picture.
Oh,
so
you just had a hat?
Well, I had my bunker pants on, and that was it.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Like half
boots?
Open. Oh, the boots were on. That's part of the pant. Like
they're all one. They're all one deal.
Well, they're not. They are separate, but it's hard to get the boots off of them.
Yeah.
So
you can just slide down the pole into your pants.
Pretty much, just whoop right up. I put my pants on 2 legs at a time.
Do you guys have a pole at the station?
No, those are illegal.
Really?
Yeah, those have been banned.
What?
People were fucking around with those things and get hurt all the time.
All of these, when were they banned?
A long time ago, I guess.
All these, they still put them in commercials.
They do. But also, firefighters are vindictive sons of bitches and thinks it's funny to put, like, grease on those things. Or one firefighter might go down it and, like, stumble and fall, then our guy would come and land on top of him, and people were breaking their legs on him. So it's just like, no, it's not safe.
So you have to use stairs now?
Yeah. Well, most stations now are just built as one level.
That's so fucking lame.
It's not like the tower stations like the old,
I'm disenchanted
except for big
now
cities
with the
like
whole
New York.
Firefighting profession.
New York and Chicago, where they got some of the older
You guys don't even go down fucking poles anymore.
No.
Fucking heroes. My ass.
Jesus.
We have to actually wear respirators and stuff now. It's not like
fucking Nancy boys.
It's not like in Backdraft where you put on a pair of rain boots and a fucking leather jacket and that's it.
You go Kurt Russell it up.
Yeah. Jumping through there with axes and
feeling doorknobs.
Well, that's true.
Well, sure.
You do feel, you don't grab the doorknob. You actually just put your hand in the back of the door to see if the door's hot.
Yeah. Like, God damn it. Was somebody masturbating in here? I think he locked it. Locked it
with a lock. With your mama on it.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
We got one more thing?
One more, then
it's time?
It's time.
A shortish show.
Yeah, it happens once in a while.
Every now and then. Maybe next week, too.
It might next week, too.
Nice.
So, do we want to just tell the people what is going on?
They'll figure it out when you're wearing the same shirt 2 weeks in a row.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they will.
See, that was funny, wasn't it? Because I can't see it.
That was pretty funny. So Jesus Christ. They'll figure it out.
Your reaction, dude. You look down. What? What?
You're laughing. This makes me laugh.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to collect myself.
Oh, my abs hurt.
So we're all very, very, very busy. Ryan's schedule shifts, and so we're moving the day that we're recording the show. We're changing it next week to a day on which I already have other things scheduled. I've got a board meeting for Atheists of Utah, and so we can't record that night. We thought maybe we'll record the night prior, but then Matt's very busy because he has familial obligations and is going to be on a couple other shows that I'm very excited to hear when they come out. And the following night is no good because Ryan has to work very early the next day and then works for several days after that. So we will be doing 2 shows this evening.
Mm-hmm. And
this is the last story before we cut.
And that's why Dan will be wearing the same shirt in both episodes.
So this is the last story that we're going to have for this episode. There'll be 2 shorter-ish episodes this week and next. But following that, we will have regular-length shows, which some like and some don't. And for those who don't, then fast forward or don't listen. Because we like what we're doing.
Yeah.
Some other people do too. Or you could even just break it up yourself and spread it over a couple days.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Then we can entertain you even longer.
Yeah. Make your whole week happy.
Please carry on, Matthew.
A man in Israel apparently doesn't want God to answer his prayers anymore. So he's filed a restraining order against the Almighty.
Well, fucking A, right?
I'm sure the judges would be in full agreement with this.
The plaintiff, identified as David Shoshan,
Shoshan?
appeared in a courtroom in Haifa on Tuesday demanding that God stop interfering in his life.
Are these real
Where is
places
this?
and names?
Israel.
Oh, okay.
In Hyphanen.
Shoshan.
Haifa, yeah. Shoshan told the court that over the last 3 years, God had been very negative towards him, though the court documents didn't detail any specifics.
He's been stealing my lunch money.
He's just been so mean, really.
Giving me wedgies.
He's like, what did I do to piss you off, dude? And you just won't even talk to me.
Made fun of me for wearing the same shirt 2 days in a row. Shoshan said he has tried numerous times to obtain a restraining order through the police department, but in response only received 10 police visits over a 36-month period. That's why this time he tried going through the court instead.
Has his medication been renewed?
The court documents noted that God did not present himself at the hearing. The presiding judge, Asan Kanan, threw out Shoshan's request and called it absurd. But why?
Because the judge is a Muslim, clearly.
It's hard to, how do you give a restraining order against someone who's omni everywhere?
Oh, yeah, I guess there's that.
He's in your bones. How do you keep him out of there?
He's watching you pee. He's the one which you get out of bathrooms.
Yes.
Fucking watching people pee.
Shit. Judge Kanan suggested Shoshan should get some help from someone beside local law enforcement. It was not immediately clear if God had an attorney, but it's suspected that he has thousands on retainer after making Jews his chosen people.
So when the judge said should go see someone else, did he mean like a therapist or a clinical psychologist?
I don't know.
Or a hammer to the forehead?
He should go see a hammer to the forehead.
Yeah.
Is the judge a female?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you said she, so I was curious why you...
Oh, did I say she?
Why you picked that.
I don't know.
I was trying to be progressive for the country.
Maybe I did say she. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think I said he and a she, so I was trying to get them both.
Apparently when I say woman, I say it all wrong, so I'm not going to say anything.
Man.
Woman.
Whoa, man.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. This is the time of the show where we say goodbye. Au revoir.
I've been Dan Ellis.
I've been Ryan Duffy.
I've been Matt Mitchell.
Did we just switch that up? Were you?
That was right.
Yeah, I was...
Okay. Did we follow the same thing in the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But at the beginning, I contested it. Because I didn't want to be Matt Mitchell 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
But then he's like,
who can blame you, really?
Yeah, no. Right. But then he reached up and felt the full head of hair, and he's like, I could deal with this for another week.
Yes. I can do so many options. Wait, I got to buy shampoo.
Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Play Now, anywhere else where you aggregate your podcasts. Tell your friends about the show. Share it with them. Let them know that you like it. You enjoy it. They may enjoy it as well.
Gift it to a Christian.
To a Christian friend?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just give it to him as a gift. Just
tell them to
download
send
it right
us
on their
messages
phone
and post on our Facebook wall. We will chat at you all next week. We love you all very much. Oh. Real quick before we go.
Yes.
I wanted to give a special shout out to all the listeners and my friends and family who have been so supportive over the untimely passing of my puppy Chaplin. I received several messages of encouragement and people being very thoughtful and kind and loving, and whether you know it or not, or whether I have replied or not, it's all been very, very helpful and has made me feel a lot better. And just to know that there are people out there who think enough of me or are compassionate enough that they would offer some type of condolence, whether they think that it helps or not. Just know that I think it helps. It has made me feel much better, and I appreciate it very much. So thank you all, and we'll chat at you next week.
Forget about the rat race. Let's do the milkshake and sounding like a hot cake. Try Wherever you are, dance to the street. Anything you like, do it in your car. In the middle of the night. La 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 la. La 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 la. Dance in the supermarket. Dig it in the fast lane. Listen to the countdown. They're playing our song again. I can't get jumpy jack, I want the whole get back. You like music, knick-knack, paddywhack. Talk about pop music, talk about pop music. Shooby-dooby-doo-wop, it's all around you. Pop-pop-shoo-wop, I wanna surround you. Shooby-dooby-doo-wop, it's all around you. Pop-pop-shoo-wop, hit it. New York, London, Paris, Munich, everybody talk about pop music. Talk about pop music. Talk about pop music. Pop music. Pop music. Listen. Talk about pop music. Talk about pop music. The fever. Pop music. Pop music. You read me? Loud and clear. Get it down. Pop music now.
Still like to try to isolate that.
I'd still like to try to isolate.
What's making that weird noise?